Hello YouTube, this is DarkOn633, and today I'm bringing a review of the Transformers Generations Cabana Wars Deluxe Class Quickslinger. Now, G1 fans will recognize the character as the character Slingshot, but due to legal reasons the name had to be changed because they couldn't secure the copyrights to the original name, so now his name is Quickslinger. However, this figure is not released in stores like Toys R Us and Targets and other retail stores, but instead this was only available in several online outlets, which is strange enough, the online versions of their stores like ToysRUs.com and so on. But this figure, along with Breakneck, will never reach retail because they're made to be online only exclusives, which is kind of a strange move, but at the same time it's kind of understandable since I'm pretty sure Hasbro, as much as there is a lot of G1 fans and so on, will only cater to an X amount of market. So I could kind of see what they did there. Otherwise, a lot of fans have already going straight to getting the Dakar release since Slingshot was actually provided from the get-go. Anyways, in terms of mold, it's pretty much the same as Fireflight. There isn't anything else in terms of molding besides obviously a different type of head and an obvious paint overall. It's pretty much the same mold overall, and there really is nothing else to say about it. But anyways, before we go on to the figure, we will now go on to the contents of the box. So anyways, the box contains the usual stuff, which actually contains the usual one weapon, which is literally just a repack of Fireflight's weapon. The Cabana limb, which is pretty much close to, if I remember correctly, Alpha Bravo's. And it also contains, interestingly enough, issue 11. So it actually starts before the other releases, so it kind of goes in between. While Breakneck contains 16, which continues on from where the other releases left off. But anyways, we'll quickly look at the box, and looking at the box alone, there isn't anything to kind of differentiate how it is an exclusive release or anything. Normally when it comes to exclusives, there usually is some kind of sticker or some kind of design stating that it's an exclusive, but possibly the fact since this is a shared exclusive, it's not going to keep that in mind in this part of the box design. Anyways, it shows a picture of Superion here, another art renderation of Superion, and it shows that it's part 4 of 5. Now, the box is actually of the new style, so it actually opens from the top instead of just being the 3 sides as usual. Transfers in 9 steps since this is pretty much the same old as Fireflight. And what's interesting to note is that they actually replaced Alpha Bravo completely on the box and replaced it with Quickslinger. Now, going on to the Breakneck, you'll see where this is not the case with that one. But anyways, we'll now take a look at Slingshot or Quickslinger, depending on what you prefer. The figure itself, as I said before, is pretty much the same as Fireflight. Anyways, his head is on a ball joint, which allows full movement. His arm is also on a ball joint. Can bend outward and inward. Can swivel up on the elbow. Has a single 90-degree elbow. He has a full waist articulation. His legs on ball joints allows full movement outward. Can also bend at the knee. And that's pretty much it for articulation. The weapons can easily be placed into his hands with no issue, just like any other Cabana Wars release. So you pretty much know what to expect if you already own the Fireflight mold. Anyways, we'll quickly go on to a little comparison with the other Aerialbots. So I'll be back with the other Aerialbots in a minute. And now we have all the Aerialbots in their former glory. Now, while Alpha Bravo is still a pretty decent mold that turned out to be a pretty good blades, I think it's finally nice to Hasbro Takara, or at least for Hasbro anyways, to give us an opportunity to have all the Aerialbots in Generation form. Now, as you can see, most of the molds are kind of retools of each other, with slight differences here and there. The more difference, to me personally, I think, happens to be Air Raid, just because of how the design of the plane itself is a lot different compared to the other Aerialbots. But I think it's really nice that we've finally given the opportunity to finally own the proper G1 version of the character without resorting to only going for Takara, unlike Defensor. Anyways, we'll go on to the transformation for Quickslinger, which is pretty much nothing much extra to expect. Anyway, here's Quickslinger in his vehicle mode. Now, I have to admit, Hasbro Takara did a very nice job designing the figure, since, once again, they were pretty much spot on in the design of the character in G1, even though this is based on the IDW version as well. Now, you can attach the weapons like the other Aerialbots, so that's good that it pretty much maintains the same type of abilities. And what's cool is that this, since it is based on the Firefly mold, he can also have the landing gear, so that's good that it does have that. And I'm really appreciative that Hasbro went out of the way to actually release this figure stateside. Now, I'll be back and show you the comparison between the other Aerialbots in their vehicle mode. Anyways, here's the proper team of Aerialbots in their vehicle mode. Now, the reason why I didn't include Powerglide in this shot is because Powerglide wasn't one of the original Aerialbots, and while he was a flying vehicle in G1, he definitely was not a part of the combination of Superion. Now, I'm going to quickly just show how Superion looks in the proper look. Since the transformation is going to be exactly the same, there isn't anything different in terms of how it combines or anything. So, if you want to see how they transform, check out my Superion review, which I've already put up a little while ago, to see how they transform. But anyways, I'll be back and show you the proper look of Superion. And here is Generations Combiner Wars Superion in all its full glory with the proper G1 Aerialbots. Now, there isn't a really good way to position both Fireflight or Quickslinger, because unlike both Skydive and Air Raid, there isn't really a way to peg the arms in a position in a way where it kind of fits in properly. So unfortunately, I kind of needed to cheat and kind of just bend the arms outward here in order to get them out of the way. Now in this version, I definitely think it's a lot stronger than it would be for Alpha Bravo. Nothing against Alpha Bravo still, but since there's a lot more coherent with the actual planes attaching together, it looks a lot better than it would with Alpha Bravo in general. Now, articulation-wise, so I'm just going to quickly go over, there isn't anything different to expect, so that pretty much is the same thing, but this just looks a lot more impressive since it does look really nice. Now, I still really like the Alpha Bravo combination, but I still think this is definitely the stronger and more familiar combination design for those who grew up during the G1 cartoon and probably preferred more than the IDW. I've pretty much got all the Aerialbots from various locations, for those who haven't seen the other videos. But for Quickslinger, I actually got it from BBTS, just if you didn't remember from the beginning of the video. I got it from BBTS along with Breakneck, and I have to admit that he's still very impressive, even for the slightly higher price that I paid for each figure, since they're, instead of being $16.99, each of the figures, if I remember correctly, are actually $17.99, so it's just a little bit more than the other places like Hasbro Toy Shop and Walmart and Target and so on. But I still think it's definitely worthwhile picking up, even if you have Alpha Bravo, since now we finally have a full team of Aerialbots in Generations form, and I think it looks very nice. Anyways, please kindly subscribe, and don't forget to check out Hirotaku for the latest in Hero News. Also check out the WW podcast at its new location, which I have linked down below. Also check me out on Twitter under DarkGon633. Don't forget to check out my other friends' channels, which are also listed down below. And don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you YouTube. Bye.